think everybody's here. Thank you for all coming to that meeting, and I apologize for the wait. I think it's a bit out of our control. Um, but it was short and sweet. I think much shorter than the one from the year before. Because I think last year the presentation was not as well knit together as the one that was presented tonight. There was no spreadsheet. There was just kind of this open discussion. So I think it went much more smoothly. Waiting for Penn to still connect it. I'm not sure.
Hey, Stephen, I just want to bring up a topic. I obviously raised it at the last meeting about the legal expenses.
Yep.
I think it's awkward that we don't have any visibility into even the pieces of that. And the reason is because, well, let's just say, and I have no idea if this is true, but let's just say that a board in town like conservation is so poorly run that they're fending off lawsuits left and right. We're not getting told who's involved in lawsuits, and we're not getting told what the town council's, what we're spending money on. So
I have to concur.
To me, it gets to management of these departments.
I really do have to concur with Doug on that. I really do.
I mean, if the
I understand
recreation
the
department,
80,000 because you don't want them to automatically overbill. All right.
I get that.
But I understand. It's like where are they all coming from? What's the average legal bill for a town of our size?
Yeah, and I don't actually care that we're at the 8-year average. I want to know, what are we spending our money on?
Mm-hmm.
I think we discussed this. I feel like there was a discussion around this. I don't know, like in March or
There
something.
was, and we were summarily shut down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've asked this question of every committee. Are you getting sued and blah blah blah, and no one answers.
And
Well,
I think that was the one
maybe
that wasn't recorded. That was also the one that was not recorded, I believe, Laura.
maybe the first step is, and I'm willing to do that because I'm meeting with Jeremy. I'll make a formal request, and then let's see where we get to. Let them go through the process of having town council tell us that it shouldn't be disclosed to the advisory committee, and then we'll think about what the next steps are.
If the theory is they're disclosing this in a public setting, and therefore, like, someone who's suing the town knows how much money we're spending, I get that disadvantages the town. But is there not a way that they can inform the advisory committee and we agree to keep it confidential? I don't.
Yeah, that's where I was headed to. Let's make that inquiry. Let's see what constraints
We're all adults here. It's ridiculous.
And then we got to think about, well, once we have the information, what do we do with it?
Well, it depends what the information is. If it turns out that 90% of the money is being spent on the recreation committee that's getting sued because somebody at one of our school fields molested a child, I think we kind of would want to know. Like,
yeah, we would know that.
Well,
I think we would.
you know what I mean? I just like,
Part of
like
our
to know the
responsibility too is
breakdown.
providing some financial oversight, and kind of not having any visibility means we can't serve our function of providing some
right, that's the
financial
point.
advisory and oversight.
It's more about a risk management issue.
Yeah.
Well, I think can I jump in?
Yeah, please, Penn, do.
I think one reason I've been interested in this information for since I've been on advisory is I've always been cognizant that we don't exercise it very much, but we have the authority, and I think I would argue the duty, to oversee or to keep an eye on management. And if departments are getting sued, then that may be a sign of poor management.
That's my point.
I think the other thing is, I think Stephen's plan is a good one. I think plan B might be to ask the town, going back 10 years, what is the town's record when it sues? What is the town's record when it is sued? How many cases, how many have been won by the town? How many have been lost by the town? How many have been settled by the town? And we don't necessarily have to ask for what departments are being sued, but that would at least give us a picture of what kind of legal activity the town is generating, if that's the right word. And I don't see how, if they won't give us the information we want under cover of confidentiality, which I frankly think is ludicrous for our board and our purposes, But if they won't do that, I don't see how that one loss settled record that information would disadvantage the town, because anybody suing the town could simply find that by going through court records.
Another potential consideration is the quality of town council. And I don't know who goes through that vetting process to do interviews and how often it's done. And that's a different issue, I suppose, is the quality of the representation.
I don't think we'll be able to wave our hands in that arena, but that's a guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
good.
so not to just go on and on about this, but at the town meeting, some people on this own committee were in favor of the historical museum. Some people weren't. It was obviously passed by 2 votes on a reconsideration. Okay. Apparently, the town meeting is run under Robert's Rules of Order, is my understanding. And under Robert's Rules of Order, you can't have a reconsideration unless it's proposed by someone on the winning side, not the losing side. And that was never recorded. So they didn't follow Robert's Rules of Order. I don't know if the town council is aware of this or advised them of this, but when I asked to reconsider it a 3rd time, she jumped in immediately and said, no, we're not going to do that.
Well, the unfortunate part is that you can't verify. You have to take the person's word for it that they voted for the winning side, if they're the person asking for the reconsideration. So, and I think in that case, someone who voted no would have to stand up and say, I voted no and I want it to be reconsidered. But I think Robert's Rules also goes on to say that you only reconsider if there's new evidence or new information that comes to light.
There you go.
That wasn't available on the first vote. So I'm hoping that with this review of this government and review, I think there's some committee being formed to do a whole review of the town government, and that may be an element, hopefully, that will come up about when and if reconsideration should be something that's offered.
Can I piggyback on that, Stephen, please?
Sure, please do.
I just put in the group chat something that was sent to me. It's called Meeting Time Handbook, Parliamentary ebook. I bought it. It's an online book. It was updated and it's really specifically from Massachusetts. And it talks about towns, and it talks about advisory. It talks about meetings, town meetings, advisory meetings. And I would suggest buying that book and reading it. It was very interesting.
Good, thanks for
Very
sending that around.
illuminating. It's an Amazon book. I can't get it. I mean, I could sit there and print it all, but just I would think everybody should read that. It's really good. Talks about things that
It's a $50 investment.
it is very well worth it.
Can I throw one more thing on?
And please.
I take your point that we would have to have a declaration. I trust the fact that the declaration was an honest one. But the 2 things that came up with this is, one, there was no declaration. There wasn't a request for declaration. And also, I don't remember the person proposing the reconsideration coming down and saying, I am so-and-so, I live at such and such a street.
Never happened.
I mean, it just was just, a call from the crowd that was responded to by the crowd. So
I think part of this is up to the moderator to decide how to proceed. And
yes,
I will. I've already voiced my objection to the moderator, and
Good.
we'll see how far that gets. But I think there was that was the game that people knew and played, and you have to stay until the meeting's over, theoretically.
Well, but to your point, Stephen, I think it's great that you lodged that objection, because I think in future town meetings, we have to do it in a more thoughtful, recorded manner.
Doug, get that
that-
book, because in the book, they have a specific thing exactly saying what happened in terms of if you have like a very contentious vote or something, and then everybody leaves and somebody does exactly.
Right.
Just saying, take the history center out of it, okay? But just say it was something else, like the tennis courts or whatever. And you can actually close the meeting and then reopen the meeting, because they talk about that happening. So it's really interesting to close the meeting, and then open it.
Yep,
So
as a way to take
as
everything
a
that's already
way
been
to
voted on off the
prevent
table.
that end of the night, 1 o'clock in the morning, 12 midnight thing happening, is you close it after a major like vote that you know everybody's there for the most part. And then you do all the boring, schmoring budget stuff after.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like to say something as well.
Please,
Um,
Paul.
That whole reconsideration thing, I think, rubbed me the wrong way and rubbed a lot of people that I know the wrong way as well. And I did some research to look at many other towns in their bylaws stipulate some restrictions on reconsideration in general. So I think that's probably something that the task force ought to take a closer look at to say, what do other towns do for this? Because this whole notion of reconsidering because you notice a bunch of people walking out, to me is not right. And several people left because they have kids at home and so on, right? So I think this thing about gaming like the current process, and even the select board saying, okay, well, you guys shouldn't leave because someone might reconsider. Even that I think was, in my opinion, not proper either, to say, okay, well, I know some hidden rules. I'm going to tell everyone, don't leave because I want you to stay, type of thing. That whole process, I think, should be taken a look at.
Yeah, to your point, Paul, that announcement was made after the athletic vote. It wasn't made after the History Center vote.
Right, right.
It wasn't like, hey, we just
Right.
voted, but don't leave. My
Right.
wife left, a bunch of other people
Right.
left, and we lost
Right.
by 2 or 3
Right.
votes.
Well, I think, Nora, thank you for
Even
sending
saying
out
that, I
that
think
link.
is improper, I think.
Yeah,
course.
Nora, thank you for sending
They
out
should,
that link.
I already mentioned it to, I think I let Dan know a while ago, because when this all happened, somebody sent it for me, not from this committee or select board, but somebody else, not. And I read it, was very interesting. There's one little section there. I'll have to get it out and, but
Well, many of
that's
us
what
are
they should
very
be
new to
doing.
this,
That's really
so
truly what it should be doing, because this isn't the first rodeo that people have figured out in other towns.
But it is back
Yeah.
to the town moderator, has control of
Exactly.
the meeting. And so it is important that that town moderator is, is following the rules and has read that book and is enforcing those rules, whether he opens and closes meetings or whether he just says, no, you can't do that. But that's at the end of the day, he's controlling.
well, thank you for sending the link to
Well-
that book, because I think it's incumbent upon us individually to be
To
educated, and we'll be that much smarter the next time.
Exactly.
that's a great point, to bring it full circle to the town council. The town council was, I'm being a little facetious, whispering in the ear of the moderator throughout this whole thing. And if the town council is, I'm going to just say, in the pocket of the select board, and whatever the select board wants to approve or disapprove, that's what the moderator is going to hear. And the moderator, I think, got bad advice.
Right.
I think there was another point where town council inserted herself, and I thought it was in a way that bothered me. And that's when the question of cost overruns came up. And I think it was Sean was saying, well, the contract could be written so it couldn't be, there couldn't be overruns more than X and so on. And people were kind of going back and forth about that. And town council said, yes, that would be an enforceable contract. And I'm sure technically that's true, but the situation I envision is construction starts and all of a sudden we have we're out of money, but there's another 250 grand left that needs to be spent. Yeah, nobody's approved the overrun, but it's gonna get spent. So the fact that it's a breach of the original contract or outside the scope of the original contract, that as enforceable as it may be, is a pretty moot point. And I thought her piping in with that, frankly, was
Finger on the scale.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Okay.
It's frustrating, but we'll be smarter. That we'll be more educated the next time. Are there any folks who like to talk about any of their liaison responsibilities that they've had follow-up meetings or further discussions?
No.
I would,
One of the things that I take away is the buildings.
You gotta. Nora's
I have
waiting.
a liaison report.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Nora. Go ahead. I was going to say.
They
But go ahead.
are trying to, the assessor was, we're on, Anyway, the new person that took Wendy's place,
Robbie.
left and, gave his, probably everybody knows that, resignation. So they're now looking for that. And also I did meet the new Board of Health agent.
She agent or administrator? What
I'm
is-
sorry, excuse me, administrator, thank you for that pen, sorry. I happened to be down there and she had just started that week. I would like to make sure that there's somebody on the advisory committee that is a liaison for Board of Health. I think for a long time, there was no liaison for Board of Health, and I think it's imperative that we do have a liaison this year. I think, Mike, maybe you and Dan were at some point, but I don't think in the past there was really a BOH advisory liaison. So anyway, that's my thing with what I know what's going on with the assessors. I was not the Board of Health administrator, liaison.
Dan
That's
and
it.
I had a meeting with them, but I don't recall if we were both liaisons, but we did meet with them. I would say that the meeting was not all that fruitful.
Okay, thanks.
Stephen, I have a different topic on liaison. I'm not a liaison to the police, but I think everyone knows my son is a police officer, so I hear a lot. My understanding is that the town is in negotiation with I guess technically it's the police union about contracts. What I've heard is that in the last 6 years, something like 15 or 16 police officers have joined and left the force or retired from the force or left early sooner than they wanted to, largely over pay. So there's a sense on the police force that we are underpaying our police. Now, I know this sounds self-serving because my son's a police officer and I want him to get paid a lot. That's not why I'm mentioning it. I want it because I don't want us to. We just recruited 2 new police officers. I don't want them to leave in 3 years because they realize they can't make any money here. But that's the buzz around the police department is you join and then you realize you're not going to make any money here and you leave.
Yeah, my quick response to that is, my understanding anyway, is that smaller towns have smaller salaries for this stuff, and it's hard to be competitive. It'd be interesting to see where those police officers went off to for higher salaries. Maybe they do some exit interviews. We could find out. That would be my guess that it's bigger towns.
As long as they're
And-
not going to Canton.
Pen?
Jesus.
Yeah, so I can, so I was one of the 2 liaisons this year, and that was not there's not a sense I've gotten, because what I've heard, and I'm friendly with the department, I've actually done driving training with them, so I've been involved with them for a few years now, and it sounds like so the officers that I know who've left have left for what I would say, would be more personal reasons, like Officer Owen wanting to have a shorter commute. He's got family connections in Concord. I think his father works for the town in Concord. There was an officer who was a young officer, Patrick Crossan, and he left and he went to Milford specifically because he wanted a more exciting department. There was one officer who was let go, so I think that I'm not sure. I think the idea of exit interviews is useful and also comparisons, but from what I've heard, the people who've left have not left to seek. If they've left for greener pastures, it was not out of pay, it was out of more personal considerations for what that's worth.
That's interesting. Do we do exit interviews or is that just anecdotal?
Everything I've said is anecdotal.
Yeah, I don't know that either, but I would imagine that it's standard operating procedure, but we'll find out.
Be a good question to ask, I think, because I mean, not to get into what we voted on at town meeting, but I mean, we're certainly spending a lot of money on a lot of stuff and doing bond issuances. and I hate to see the police force somehow losing good people, over, I don't even know what they're debating. Is it a, 2% raise, a 6%, whatever the raise is they're looking for? It strikes me as that we need we need a solid police force. So I just think we gotta focus on this.
Actually, in the budget for 26, we kind of put a pro forma number in there because we didn't know what the union contract was going to come out to be. There may have to be some retroactive pay paid as well, because I'm not sure when the contract expires. It might be June 30, but I'm not sure.
Also, can I throw in a little, just a bit more history? One of the things that, remember when the discussion came up about going to the regional dispatch center, Chief Galvin was very much in favor of it. And he said that one of the things, because Sherborn was not able to hire civilian dispatchers, officers were having to do it, which led to a lot of overtime, but officers did not like sitting behind a desk. That's not why they became cops. And so he thought one of the big advantages to the town to going to regional dispatch is it would lessen turnover and improve retention, which I guess is the same thing said twice, redundantly.
Over and over.
Yeah.
Nora, did you have another comment on that?
Oh, who, me?
I thought I saw you raise your hand.
No, it did not.
All right. So something that I thought would be helpful for us is if we could finalize the open minutes from the various meetings that we had. Does anybody have any comments? I got one from Paul. There was a typo we corrected. Did anybody else have any other comments on the minutes?
I did not. I read them. I didn't have any comments.
Okay, so maybe somebody would like to make a motion.
I'd move we adopt all the minutes that you just distributed. I don't have the dates in front of me.
Okay, it was the minutes from March 24.
Yeah.
March 22nd, March 24, April 2nd, and April 29th.
April 29th, yeah.
I would second
So-
the motion to approve those.
Okay, minutes, okay. So Doug, motion, and who seconded? Paul?
I did, Paul.
Thank you. Roll call. Shelley?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Laura?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Nora?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Hen?
Aye.
And I am aye as well. Excellent. Well, thank you for getting those approved, and I'll get them sent off so that they can be posted, and we'll be up to date other than for tonight. And I took the minutes for tonight.
Thank you.
Because I forgot to ask somebody else to do it.
Keep forgetting.
Does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring up?
Is there a schedule for the coming year for our meetings?
Not yet. Not yet, but I think the next meeting would probably be in the September timeframe, October. I'm not quite sure when the first meeting will be.
And I think there was some hope for that we might be able to move from Wednesday to Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, there was a hope for that?
Yes.
Pretty much so. I think Monday, because I think Tuesday is capital budget and Wednesday is just a,
Wednesday is Board of Health, and I'd like to be on Board of Health calls.
Yeah.
yeah. And I have a sort of a regular conflict on Wednesdays. I mean, I give advisory priority, but I'd rather not.
And I have a bit of a conflict on Tuesdays, so we may be defaulting to Mondays. How does anybody feel about Mondays?
I have a conflict on Mondays.
Okay.
I have 2 Mondays a month that I'm conflicted with, but
Well, so just asking the question, is 7 p.m. a time that works for everyone generally, or should we be looking at another time? Like, can people do 5 in the afternoon, or I don't know.
I can't.
What if we didn't do it every Monday or every Wednesday? If we rotated it, did it every other, when we get busy during the course of the year, 1 week it's a Monday, 1 week it's a Wednesday.
That's an interesting idea.
Hmm.
Yeah,
What are Thursdays like?
they're okay by me.
The third Thursday of every month, I'm cooked, kind of forever. But generally, I guess I could do Thursdays.
How does anybody else feel about Thursdays?
I
Thursdays, I think I don't know if the
think
select
that's
board has
select board. I
meeting.
think it's select board is Thursday.
I think it is actually.
Yeah,
I mean, I could do Mondays. It's just that a couple Mondays, it's fine.
If we could start at 8, I could probably swing Mondays.
that would be late because then we'd be going late, I think.
I just have a standing 6 o'clock on Mondays.
I mean, one thing we could do is if we did your plan, Stephen, of alternating, we could possibly, 8 on Mondays, 7 on Wednesdays, and push whatever we can to the Wednesday from the Monday.
Or if we just put out the calendar now.
Well, if something's standing, can't, it's standing. From,
Okay.
So-
I know it's hard to get everybody at every meeting. 9 people, it's gonna be hard, and we have at least one new person, and we won't know what their schedule is either.
Well, so I was going to ask that question. Who is that person, or is
Well, that person gets appointed by the moderator.
and is that a process, or should we opine on that, or what's?
Oh, I think if we have names of people that we think would be good, I think we should bring them forward to the moderator for sure.
Okay.
So if you have, I'm going to be having coffee or lunch with them within the next week or two. So if you have names of folk that you think would be good candidates, send them on to me.
Is there
Good.
a deadline or like a time by which we need sort of to decide
On
on?
which night?
Well, no, which person? In other words, you're saying you're having coffee with them. We should get names to you, but like, is there a like if we know by when we need to get a name to you, and after that we don't need to bother? That
Laura, my impression is ASAP, and the reason is because I joined a year ago, and the moderator approached me in July and was kind of interviewing me and my interest, et cetera. And I think probably made a decision, over the summer, well before September, when the first meeting happened. So I think if we have people we would want them to consider, because it's his decision, I think you should put him forward now.
Yeah, I agree. Earlier the better. So what did we conclude about Monday, Wednesday, Thursday? Thursdays are out because I think it's select board night.
I'll see if I can change my Monday standing thing to a different night or a different. Yeah, I'll see
And
what
it's for a short period of time. It's from October to February, I guess.
Otherwise, I have a Monday. Wait a minute. Hang on. Give me a second.
October to April feels like.
March
Okay.
maybe.
No, but I think I have a Monday commitment in the fall. Hold on a second. What
So
was
what
the
are we
default
thinking?
this year? Wednesday?
Say that again?
The default
Yes.
this year was Wednesday?
Yeah. And everybody doesn't necessarily mean that everybody has to be at every meeting. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually in the camp of if we did it at 8 on Monday, it would work better for me, but whatever. I can figure out how to make it work.
I could make 8 on Monday work, frankly, but. I
But it's
may-
when they're doing the presentations though. I mean, that's when is that fair to do to the
Well, I do think we should.
budget makers?
I do think we need to figure out how to not have 4-hour meetings.
Yeah, 100%. No matter when we start.
Because I just can't do. I can't be at a meeting until 11 o'clock at midnight. It's really hard. You have to be in an office and catch a train at 6 in the morning. It's just not.
so one of the things that we could, one of the
Capital
things
budget.
that I was thinking about for us to think about, but I wasn't going to bring it up tonight, but maybe if I do, you think about it over the summer and we can talk about it in September, is do we need every budget maker to come to the committee? Meaning, as an example, if somebody's budget is under X dollars and it's within guidance, do they really need to make a presentation to the committee?
Oh, that might give them incentive to be under budget.
Would-
But just one thing, capital budget, I really, and I'm making this proposal and I hope that you can talk to whoever's in charge. CBC, Capital Budget Committee should meet at the same time as advisory. That's another thing. Because
With
you have the budget-
advisory or during the same period of time?
when the budget makers are making their presentation on the capital budget items, they should be doing it at the same time with advisory, I think.
A combined meeting, you're saying?
Combine, yes, combine
Yeah, that
meeting.
makes so much more sense to
Yeah.
me.
I agree.
Yeah,
Better for them, better
Better for
for
everyone.
for
Yeah.
everyone. Because it doesn't, our vote, like, we don't vote on anything until the end.
Right.
So they're doing, so we, like Laura and I were, listening to the same presentation twice, and it's not like we're voting on anything. And even if we were, it just,
same presentation twice. So
it's more for the budget makers and courtesy to them.
And they do it a third time to the select board, so it's easier for
Exactly.
them too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, that's a good idea.
Can I throw out a bit of food for thought on that as well? Or
Sure.
the budget makers? I think one of the things that's, it complicates things, it slows things down. I think it's also a management issue. I think it's a problem that the people who are, that boards and committees are acting as budget makers. And the budget makers are actually the town employees. So the budget maker for the Board of Health is supposed to be the health administrator. And that's true for all the boards. The budget maker for the library is supposed to be the library director. And I would suggest that for our all-day meeting at least, and perhaps for the presentations as well, that the only people we expect to have present are budget makers, the actual budget makers, the people who get a check from the town, because they're the ones who are responsible to the town. And I think it muddies the water. I think it's a problem when boards and committees step into management.
Volunteer boards. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we can't necessarily control that, but we can certainly sort of enforce the chain of command as it's written in the town organization. So if we
Well,
look
and a lot of boards, as we know, are ignoring it, right? I mean, I pointed this out at the town meeting with the Board of Health.
Well, we don't have to ignore it. We just say, look, I'm sorry, advisory will listen to the budget maker who's in the town organizational chart. You can do what you want, but that person's the one who's going to present to us.
I think that's a great idea. It reinforces the chain of command of who's running the, I mean, the health administrator is supposed to be running the department, and it's not the health administrator, it's the chair of the Board of Health, which is not the way it's supposed to be.
And ditto for the library, ditto for Concom. I mean, it's a common issue, and if you look at the statutes by which these boards are both elected and appointed, their authority, they have authority over policy. They do not have authority over management, but they take that authority, and I think to the detriment of the town very often.
Good points.
Getting back to the legal fees, Steve, is there any way we can look at, or do you have, when you're talking to Jeremy, if he has access, easy access, I guess it's Googling it, other towns like a Lincoln or similar sized towns and what their legal bills are?
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah, why
all
not?
available online. We
Yeah.
can get that information.
That would be really fascinating.
Mm.
Granted, they could be having totally different issues. They could be having, an HR issue or something, but it'd be interesting to see. Just another data point.
Yeah, and we don't know what the legal bills are at the regional school level either, if any. We only know the town stuff. Anyway,
That's So can I ask you about that? So as part of our legal budget is only for the town, it's not for the school? Because there's a
It's
whole.
not for the
separate
regional
line item?
school. It's not for the regional school, but it is for Pine Hill School. Pine Hill, any legal matter with Pine Hill would come under the town's budget.
Right,
Any legal matter
they're
with
just
the
like
regional-
every other department that we don't know who's getting
Yeah,
legal advice and how much. Right.
but we know it went on, you know, there probably was some legal issues at the middle school and the high school. But we don't see what those legal fees are because they're buried in their budget.
We don't have a line item for their legal? They must have a line item.
You know, what I saw this past year from the regional committee were pretty high level numbers. I don't know what the liaison committee sees, if there's a more granular budget. I don't know.
No, their budget is very,
I don't
They-
remember seeing any legal stuff for the regional or the elementary schools. It's mostly class and those sort of things and bus transportation. I mean, I reviewed those last 2 years. I don't recall seeing any legal line items. in
Yeah.
those.
Good.
yeah, they compress a lot of stuff. You know, for example, I think if I remember correctly, the administrator's salary is not, the salary of the people who work in the administrator's office are not broken out individually. They're just a lump sum for all the expenses of the administrator's office, including all the salaries there. So it is, it's granular in the way that brown sugar that's been left outside for a while is granular. It's one big grade.
But I know there have been legal bills at the middle school, high school level, though, Paul.
Oh, yeah. But
It's not that they don't have any legal bills, so I'm curious.
but I could imagine,
Yeah, we'd have to ask
be
that.
hard.
It's not-
wouldn't be hard to find a category you could put that into, you know, administrative expenses. Redundant opacity, I don't know, I'm sure there's something in there.
Redundant opacity, I like that.
Can we just ask them?
Doug, you're on mute.
Sorry, do you know, for example, is the Pine Hill School legal part of the 180,000 that we just approved or
That's
what?
what I'm,
Would a
Or-
legal bill, I don't know what's in,
Yeah,
If
or
there
is it
was a legal
buried, is
bill
it
for
buried in
Pine-
some other line item, you know?
if there was a legal bill related to the school, Pine Hill, it would be in the town's budget. If it's a legal bill related to the middle school or the high school, it would be in the regional school committee budget.
but that's still, we still pay part of that, so.
Right? Yeah.
Anyway, so we don't have the answer. The point is,
Yeah.
we need more transparency on all this legal expense. Anyway, what else do we need to do on this call?
I think that's all I had on the agenda.
Great.
I have one last item, if I may.
Please.
I just think we should all give thanks to Stephen
Yes.
stepping
gonna say that.
into this role. And if I understand correctly, I think this is going to be Mike's last meeting because I think his term has ended. So I think we should express, our, I don't know, I'll speak for myself. I'm really grateful to have gotten to know both of them. I'm grateful for how much they've done for the town, for the committee. And I just appreciate, I think we should thank one as he's stepping off and thank another as he's stepping up.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Please,
Thank you all. Appreciate it. It's been a wild ride for 3 years.
Mike, I didn't realize you were stepping down.
I didn't know you were stepping down either, Mike.
But so I guess that means we need 2 new members, do we?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least.
Good,
I don't know.
okay.
I'm sorry, Mike, that I hope I didn't let the cat out of the bag.
No, that's totally fine.
So he's not stepping down, just I just want to
Well, hell, my term ended too.
Yeah.
But maybe they won't appoint me. Maybe.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it.
if your
All right.
term's ended, Laura, you should let Mike Jama know that you want to be reappointed. I don't think that hurts.
Yeah, it's-
Anyway,
I-
but I just want to say, Mike, I didn't want to imply that Mike was stepping down. He's just, his term is over and he's not re-upping and.
got it.
And so I didn't want to muddy those waters. And my apologies on that, Mike.
No worries whatsoever. No, it's been a pleasure spending my evenings with all of you.
Dan
said.
last year had a get together, we were able to get together, whatnot. I think it was over the summer. Are we going to have something similar to that? I'm happy to host it.
At Dan's house.
I guess,
Don't
yeah,
tell 'em.
I'm happy to host it at my house or,
Second
anything
that
like
motion. Yay, yay, Nora.
That'd be cool.
Do it.
Pardon me?
I'll help you do it.
There you go.
Yeah, it's easy peasy.
Were you thinking of a particular date, Nora?
No, we don't have to talk. I mean, no, I'm around now. I'm here. So anytime.
Well,
I gotta hop off if there wasn't anything else.
Yep,
But great to
I
see
think we
everybody.
I make a
Enjoy-
motion to
enjoy the-
adjourn.
Enjoy the
so a
summer,
motion to
everybody.
adjourn, Nora, is there a second?
Aye.
All right, so we'll do a roll call. Shelley,
Hi.
Doug,
Aye.
Laura,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Nora,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Penn,
Aye.
taking
and I am I as well. All right.
Thank
We'll
you.
see y'all
Have a
soon.
nice summer,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks all.
Bye.